Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Agency Operators Podcast. Today I'm joined by Neha Bhuchar of Atom11. How are you, Neha?
Hi, Pasha. I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. Really excited to talk to you today. Topic is DSP and ads, right? Like everybody is trying to figure out, okay, what more can we do? Because Amazon can feel sometimes limited, right? They just give you this bucket of options. And DSP is what I always recommend when a brand is ready for it. So I'm excited to dive in. But before we do that, Niha, maybe you want to talk a little bit about yourself. I'm curious, what made you decide to start Atom11? What's the background? What are the steps? Like, if you want to share a couple words about that.
Absolutely. But first of all, Pasha, thank you so much for having me over here. I am so excited for our conversation. Very quick background. So, I am Neha. I am the co founder and CEO of Atom11. Um, the background of starting Atom11 is very interesting. I'm actually ex Amazon. I have worked in Amazon advertising team for over 6 years before I started the company. And I've done various roles. I was a product manager. So, in the simplest language, I have built and seen how Amazon's ad algorithms are built and how they work. Um, and I have also managed teams which used to manage, large accounts, for optimization and just support. Um, And what used to happen with me was that my team would be in these WhatsApp groups and Slack channels with the brands and agencies. And they would see this two-way communication going on between the brand and the agency where the brand is saying, "Hey, my inventory is low. Can you pause my ads? Today I'm on big, on a big on my deal day. Can you go aggressive on bids?" And I used to think that with so many tools and softwares out there, why are these things not automated? That led me into a discovery of my own where I was just looking at what are the different tools, because I just wanted to suggest to them that use this, and your agency will be more in sync with how your business is running. And I couldn't find that, so I built it. And so Atom 11 is all about, along with all the table stakes requirements that people need from a software. I think the USP that we are built on is that we combine or integrate your retail signals from Seller Central and Vendor Central into advertising, so that your agency or you yourself are running more efficient um, business, true to the business ads, and ads are not being run in silos. So that's a little bit of how we started Atom 11. And of course, we've been on our own journey of understanding that, startup is a lot more about, than, the product is one part of it. And then there are other things, of how you find, Amazon sellers and agencies that, will benefit from your software. But I think it's just been a beautiful journey and enjoying it so far.
Very cool. I love that.
Thank
When
you.
there's not the solution that you're looking for, you build it yourself. So
Absolutely.
that's all we're left to do if we're really passionate about our solution, and that's amazing. So that's something I've noticed a lot myself is that even within Amazon's org, there are silos. Within the way that things work in teams, there are silos. And so my job as a leader of an agency is to bring those teams internally together so everybody's communicating efficiently. The software and the people and the strategies are all kind of in sync. And that's the biggest thing that we're fighting all the time is like how to get everything to work together and to the chain effect kind of be there top of mind. So yeah, PPC is up, inventory needs to be sent in to meet that demand, right? And same type of deals are happening, and you push one lever and then you have to like it has an effect over there, and so we notice the same thing. So Atom11, like, so how does DSP now fit into this? Like, what is,
Yes.
like, do you guys manage DSP, like, give seats out, or you have your own seat and then people can kind of lend it from you? How does
Yes.
that work? And then I'm also curious, kind of second part, which we'd like to get, I would like to get into is how does that connect to like the regular ads? Like, do you guys use AMC
Yes.
to connect the whole picture?
Absolutely. To answer your first question, so how do we come in the DSP picture? So Atom 11 is full funnel. We do DSP, Amazon Marketing Cloud, PPC. We're also going to be getting into Walmart very soon. So we're already kind of getting our teams up for it, and hopefully soon TikTok. So there is like full funnel, and we want to ensure that we are omni-channel too. What do we do when it comes to DSP? So the idea is to be a self-serve platform and make DSP so easy that people are able to use it themselves. But we also provide management services for clients who are just starting out DSP at 15,000 and more of ad spend. Um, so as soon as they are slightly more mature, we are able to pick them up and expand their strategy on DSP. So that's what we do on DSP. But I think on your second question, right, how does DSP even fit into the larger picture of PPC? um, and I'll tell you the inside story of how this even came by, right? So when customers or when advertisers used to start advertising on Amazon, they were actually only able to reach a customer when the customer started looking for their product. So let's assume that you are Nike and you are, looking for people who want to buy shoes. So when a customer, they are only able to leverage a customer when the customer comes and types either Nike or shoe or sneakers or Adidas, right? So on either a generic keyword or a branded keyword or a competitor keyword. Now, with this, there is a limitation, there is a cap to which they can go and reach the customer. At point number one, what they are doing is basically they are only reaching a customer when they are fulfilling their demand. Demand fulfillment is the word. But what if the customer of the brand wants to grow even more and even faster? Right? What if they want to, the shoe market on Amazon is, I don't know, I'm just picking a number out of the thin air, let's say $1 billion, but they want to grow more than this $1 billion TAM and they want to increase and create demand. DSP, and if there's just one word that can describe DSP, two maybe, then it's creating demand, right? So now they don't have to wait for a customer to type the word shoe. They can go and find this customer when they are chilling on Prime Video or when they're Netflixing and chilling, when they are doing something else and not even prompting on Amazon that they are looking for a shoe. Just by leveraging Amazon's first party data of my interests or my likes, my dislikes, Nike can reach me as a customer and tell me that there's a shoe, shoe brand called Nike, or hey, there's a new style of shoe that I might like. This is called creating demand, and this is how a Nike can go over and above Amazon's own TAM or total addressable market of the shoe buyers and grow from there. So, short answer, DSP is about creating demand. It is about giving brands the leverage to grow beyond what Amazon itself was capable of. And that's how it gets into the picture. If I can actually add one more small thing, which is once your PPC has saturated, which means that once you start putting in more money in your PPC but your sales remain constant, that means your PPC has saturated or plateaued. At this point, there are only two ways to grow. One way to grow is that you keep fighting that PPC battle harder. You keep going and conquesting your competitor. You keep increasing your CPCs so that you can reach this the same customers, or you just go and grow your market and you increase your reach through DSP. So I think that's again another way of looking at DSP. One, this is how you are creating demand, and the second one is instead of just fighting for the same customer through PPC, you're going and increasing your reach.
So with that, okay, there's going to be a lot of top of funnel. I know that on DSP, what we do is a lot of remarketing work as well. That's bottom of funnel, and that's when I think it's very powerful when you already
Yes.
have existing customers, you have a large catalog, you want to cross promote something, then you do some remarketing. But with that top of funnel, when you're reaching people like you say on Prime Video or on Netflix now, all of that really top of funnel. Now you're capturing audiences who maybe are not they're not even on their phone, but people sit next to their phone. That's the idea, right? It's like you can run an ad with a QR code and people can take their phone and scan the QR code from their couch and then, on the intermission buy something or just become aware. But really it's not the conversion that we're expecting during that Prime Video interaction. It's just, okay, here's this brand, this is relevant to your interests, now you know about them. And then hopefully when they come into Amazon, we can target them again, show them another ad, and just lead them down the funnel until finally there's enough touch points. And so I think that's an interesting distinction where maybe AMC or some way to look at that conversion cycle is very important. Is that something that Atom 11 focuses on in terms of like kind of building the big sequence of started on DSP, ended up here, because so many brands are always worried about DSP cannibalizing their sales. That's always the big discussion I hear.
Yes, very good question and very well put. When you talk about the word funnel, and we hear it in so many. Like now that I read about ads and top of the funnel, they say the funnel is dead, and I feel that the funnel can never die. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that the funnels have started overlapping. There's always a funnel. You have a top of the funnel where you've increased your reach, and now you got to retarget the same customer. The more the touch points, the better the higher the chances of the customer to actually convert. So what Atom with Atom 11 we enable sellers, agencies, brands to be able to not just very easily set up campaigns in bulk, so that they are able to reach different kind of audiences, through different ways, but also create those funnels. So your top of the funnel, and then your consideration funnel, and then your retargeting funnel. Not just that, once you have retargeted or completed the DSP funnel, that's when you move on to your sponsored products, and you're able to now target customers who have seen your DSP ads, so that they are able to see your next PPC ad or increase your bids for PPC ads. So that completes your funnel from the very top of the funnel to the very bottom of the funnel. And so all of these sequencing is very easy to create when you are on a third party software like Atom 11, which enables these audience creations in bulk and targeting of these audiences in bulk.
I see. Okay. So if a user was interested in testing the software, do you guys have any kind of offers like that? Like maybe like a free trial? You know,
Yes.
and again, two-part question. There's a lot of other softwares out there. People probably are familiar with the Metrics and the Quartile and the Pack View. How does your software compare against these softwares?
Very good question. Let me take the second question first, which is how does Atom 11 compare against our peers or our competitors, softwares like Quartile, Metrics. So there are two types of softwares in the market, Pasha. One is a software which is plug and play. So that is one end of the spectrum where the customer just comes, they plug in their account, and the software takes all the decisions of what to do with the bids, what to do with the budgets, how to run the account.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the spectrum is a control based software. A control based software is when the the entire control is with the seller or the agency as to how do they want to run their account. The more experienced you get in PPC and DSP, the more control you want for yourself, because now you know how to use the different levers of advertising to actually get what you want. One of the things that we believe, why people would need a control based software is because with the control based software, you are actually able to make a decision on how to increase sales, not just how to decrease wasted spend. And this is an important distinction because this is what helps you grow. This is where strategy comes in, right? Uh, Atom 11 is a control based software. The entire control of how to run, what to run is in your hands. What Atom11 support does is that we help you build those strategies so that you are able to increase sales, not just focus on reducing wasted spend. So the important distinction is being control based, flexible, mimicking human behavior kind of automations versus black box automations. One of the things that we actually pioneered in our software, which is different from and of course, and in addition to being retail aware, is glass box automation. A glass box automation is where you're able to see what is happening in your automation, what happened before automation and what happened after automation. That is an again important distinction where we say that that is the next level of transparency, where we will not hide anything. Did your automation improve your performance or did it not improve your performance? If it did not improve your performance, at least it is in front of you so that you know what to do with your automation. Do you want to make changes or tweaks to your automation, or do you want to just undo the automation and run your account as is? You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
those are the two important distinctions. One being control based, flexible, mimicking human behavior, and secondly being transparent about what happened in the automations, glass box automation.
Very cool. So you guys give people the ability to make their own automation stack. So they're
Yes,
kind of designing their own automation, running a
that's
test against it, seeing the result, modifying it. So you're giving people basically more control in the way that it's a bit of a hybrid, right? Because it's an automated
yes.
system that they can control.
Absolutely. And I think with the one core feature that we just launched, which is, they are able to now talk to the automations through our MCP,
Hmm.
as well as through our own proprietary AI called Neo. Uh, the analytics and the recommendations are becoming even more easier to use now that the conversation is just turning into natural language rather than the ifs and buts. So I think yeah, and the similar kind of functionality is being carried over into DSP along with PPC. On to your second question, what can we offer to all the viewers out there today? So if you are thinking of starting your first DSP campaign, you can reach out to me directly at neha at atom11.co. And if we can flash, it's actually just my name at atom11.co, and it's right in front of you. And we will help you get started for the first month at a flat fee of $500 per month. And from there on, if you feel that this is DSP is something that is helping you move forward, then we'd love to discuss how to take you forward from there.
So I'm trying to, is that it right here?
Perfect. Yes, I think that's exactly right.
Okay, great. Neha, this was very insightful. I appreciate that exclusive offer that you're sharing with our
Thank you so
viewers,
much, Pasha.
and yeah, it was intriguing to get to know how things are developing in this kind of in the ad world, with the MCP and everything like that. I love that. It's just like with AI being sprinkled and everything, it just makes everything so much interoperable, and you get your Claude as like the central hub and having all these MCPs and it does all these things for you. So that's very cool that you guys have that integration as well.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe we'll have another conversation on MCP, but it's just amazing what people are doing with it. I think, you build it with an idea, and then it's just even more amazing when you see what people are actually doing with it. And so maybe that's a conversation for another time, but super interesting.
Cool. Looking forward to that. Neha, once again, thank you. And thank you
Thank
to
you.
the listeners for joining in today and listening. Take care. See you in the next one.